put here for us to actually eat, right?
Okay.
It's like not processed. It's that stuff that grows out the grass, the stuff that, you know, God himself alone created, you know. So if you're eating the right foods for your body, then, you know, food will definitely heal you. When I'm cooking, I usually go to a whole nother place.
Okay.
I actually made a cookbook, you know, of different recipes that I created, you know, while being in the kitchen and experimenting with different flours like and buckwheat flour and gluten-free flours. And so, you know, that is when I used to like spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So at my mom's nonprofit and with my dad and his business, we like to call everything the art of, and then whatever it is.
Okay.
Because there's an art to everything you do, right? It's about your level of creativity. There's so many things that you could do. Like, you know, you're bringing back social connectedness, having me here and cooking and, you know, providing entertainment for people, because, you know, this is something that we all need and something that we all could do, you know, from our own kitchens. And so, you know, for those that's entertaining for food, you know, this would be something that would tune them in and bring them on in and bring them together. I'm gonna make this tomato paste. I'm gonna pre-mix it together with some water. My mom always told me, you know, mix it with some water before you put it in the pot because it just blends better. So I'm gonna take this tomato paste out the can here. And this is a quick and easy like lasagna way, yeah, because like in real life, I would like to, you know, just make some tomato base from scratch, you know. Go to the garden and get some lettuce, some onions and some herbs and chop it all up and blend it all up and just kind of make it, and then you could still add the tomato paste to that to thicken it up. And for me, it's really just kind of being appreciative and grateful for all the blessings that I've had in my life, and really like using that and leaning on that to create programming to help the mothers in our community, because the mothers are the healers.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is Taja. You are tuned in to our Northside Stories Table Talks. Today we have the Caldwells, and I'm just gonna let them introduce themselves, let you all know who they are, what they do, and why they do it. If you would like to go first, let us know who you are.
Of course, I'll start. Kenneth Caldwell. I am the owner of Call to Art Paint Time. I also have a gallery, online gallery, calltoartgallery.com. But it's going to be changing soon because someone jacked my name. They jacked my profile, and they're trying to sell it back to me for a couple grand. Like, I'm not doing that. So, long story short, I'm going to be changing that pretty soon, and that information will be out. And also, I am an educator as well. So I work at KIP North Star and teach art. So.
All right. Before I have you introduce yourself, would you like to spell out the Called to Art?
Caldtoart. That name, I was playing around with names, and a friend of mine, Alicia Price, was like, "Your name is too long. Like, you got to do something with." And I was like, so we were I think we were in Atlanta, and we was getting ready to go and do some type of interviewing that she had set up, and we were just kind of playing around, and Call to Art came up, and it stuck. So it's a play on the last name, Caldwell, CALD. TOART, to art. So I loved it, stuck with me, and I'm happy with it. So shout out to Alicia Price.
I think it's pretty dope too.
Yeah, thank you.
And you are?
Yes. My name is Nakisha Caldwell, also known as Coco. I'm the owner of Coco Nache. That's my designer brand. I have shoes and clothing I'm also the COO of House de Panache, where we curate fashion shows and do lots of positive work in the community, anything surrounding the arts. And I also do the operations for my mother's nonprofit organization, Northside Culture.
Alrighty. And you are?
Hello, I'm Sharnea Caldwell. I am a director in a first aid CPR company called Hearts Healing Hearts, trying to get our kids and adults to think critically and how to be able to help save one another, you know, because I hope you guys can help save me if I need it, but it's just important to teach those life skills, and I also help do that under my mom's nonprofit, Northside Culture, as well as I'm currently a life insurance agent trying to break some generational curses and give our community some things that were kind of held back from us, you know, with the foundation and just teaching families how to be more financially responsible and to have that open table discussion between the elders, the parents, and their children. And just glad to be here giving back.
Alrighty, so y'all,
I gotta say one more thing.
go right ahead.
So I also do the project management for my dad's project. Super shout out to, you know, my dad, artist Charles Caldwell. His project is on break for the winter time, but come spring he'll be right back working on the mural on the Kemp's building on West Broadway.
Alrighty, so that's what I was gonna get into. You know, you all are siblings. So how was it growing up with the dad that y'all have? Like, for me, I'm 26, but I always heard the name Charles Caldwell. Charles Caldwell. He did this, he did that. And so one day I was just like, who is this man? And then when I met him, I think y'all dad is really dope in the art that he does. So how was it growing up with having that dad in the house and, like, you know, because he's that dad, you know? How was it?
I want to start.
I can start. For me, my experience, having a positive male example, I looked at him as almost like I use this term, I don't want to use it lightly, but I want to just kind of be gentle when I use this term, almost like a God. So in the sense of leadership and role and setting an example. So watching him as a kid, I looked at what he did as creating art as making magic. And he was a magician. So when I was exposed to it, it was like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And for me, I think that was my way of connecting. It wasn't sports. I didn't play basketball. I played football. I didn't know if he played football. I never knew that side of him. It was the art side that had the biggest impact on me. So we didn't really connect too much with sports, but it was the arts that we connected with. And I remember 5th grade, him telling me that if I got my grades up, he would nurture my desire for the arts. And he would give me, every time I came back with a good report, he would give me different art supplies like sketchbooks, special pencils. And I remember, I think it was the 6th grade, coming home one day and came into the house and there was this art table that was sitting there. My grandma was like, don't touch that table. So I'm like, all right. So naturally, I see a nice, cool looking art table. And I come home and I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, this is nice. It's like a Cadillac of art tables. And so I'm going to the room and I come outside and I'm playing. And then Pops gets back and he's like, how was your day at school? And immediately I got nervous. Like, did I get in trouble? Like, did something happen? Like, did I do something wrong? I was like, I think I had a good day. And he was like, you know what? You have been doing good. Your grades is up. He said, you see that table right there? And I said, yep. He said, that's yours. Man, I must have got so excited. I dropped everything immediately, sat at the table, turned the lamp on, start moving it around. I was like, this is it. So that was like his way of keeping me focused and keeping me attracted and interested into the arts. And so for me, that was like, that was it. That was a moment.
So would you say like 6th grade is when you?
6th grade, yep.
That's
I was hooked in the 1st grade.
Okay.
But 6th grade is where it was like, this is it.
That's funny. Your dad said the same thing.
Yeah.
What about for you?
For me, I think that a father is a girl's first love, and that was that was pretty much the case for my dad, because we grew up in a family where there was a lot of absent males, and so my dad was everybody's dad. Daughter has dance class. My dad was everybody's dad, and so, to be able to call him my dad, it was something very special for me and something that, I really felt great about. And yes, he was always just that guy. I can remember in elementary school one time, I had a friend, and he said, I want to date her because she's rich. I had no idea what he was talking about, but my dad, he used to drive limos at one point in time, and he used to drop us off at school in the limo.
Right.
So, he was just always, known for just doing those special kind of things for everybody and just in the community. And even as an adult, I hear people, telling me stories about my dad, and I'm always just in awe because, to have a dad that's special is really something that's near and dear to me.
I concur.
Thank you for sharing. And for you?
Well, let's see. So I'm not just Sharnea, but I'm Sharnea Caldwell. I don't use that name lightly. I understand the doors that it opens, so I've been using it and just flowing with it, and I've been letting it take me a lot of places throughout my entire life, but especially this year that I have so many businesses that are being groomed, because I understand what a privilege it is and what privilege means, and that, I have a responsibility to let his hard work, as well as my mother's, not go unnoticed. I have a responsibility to let me get into places that normally I wouldn't just be able to on my own. Even though, I'm my own person, I think it's responsible for me to be able to really show Minnesota, the history that and legacy that my parents have been leaving for us. And I remember in the first grade, I used to bring my dad to school. Come on, introduce him to my class, and I used to, hey, this is my father, and he's gonna be showing his artwork today, and he's never done a picture of me, and now I have my own exhibit, pretty much. No, but I really understood growing up that there weren't a lot of other examples of, as my sister said, men in the family and even with friends. So I understood the importance of appreciating that and letting it groom me to be responsible in that appreciation, even with my kids, and knowing how important it is for the role that he chose to take on in not just my family, but to so many other people, adults, old and young, call my dad too, just because he has been that. So I've had to sit back and be appreciative that they appreciate that. So.
Okay, so why art? Like, y'all dad was an artist.
Why not art?
So why I don't have a art gene in my body. I can't. You can hand me a pen and a piece of paper, and I couldn't draw if it. So like, why stick with like art? Like you talked about painting, and you told me you was a photographer too. We ain't speak on that yet, but you did tell me that. And then fashion, that's a part of art. But why? Why?
I think it's more so just being exposed to it and then the creative side of it. So, like, Pops never like was like, "Yo, I want y'all to be artists." Like, this is what y'all gonna do, and sat us down like Michael Jackson's dad sat him down, made them rehearse for days in and days out. Like, we didn't have, it wasn't that kind of pressure on us. It was more like, this is what I do, exposing us to it and making sure that we were going to be good, productive kids growing up and contributing to the community in a positive way, not in a negative way. And so the art became the tool. The art became the connector. And for me, that's what it was. It was just a way of connecting. I think every boy looks to connect with his father or male-like figure. And when you get that, you don't want to let that go. You want to hang on to that. And it's like, yo, I can do this. Like when you first learn how to ride a bike, you're like, Dad, I can ride a bike, Dad, I can skateboard. Like, it's like that kind of feeling. And you don't want to lose that. And so me having kids of my own, and I just, like, every time I come in the house, every time I come in the door, I can see the way they light up and the energy. And I'm like, yo, like that's something to be proud of. That's something to hold and embrace. And when you have that connection as a father, you don't want to let that go. So I think it's a two-way street. From my experience, it was like, okay, this is what I'm exposing you to. And then for me, it was like, I want that. Like, I want to be a part of that. And my sister was just, like talking about the legacy and understanding the value in the name Caldwell. Like, I was able to grasp that at a very young age, and just again being able to hear that name. There was not a place we could go to.
Get your act right.
and we wouldn't get, if we was out of pocket, he would know. Like, there wasn't a thing that, and I was like, how did he know that? He was like, I would leave off the block. Wasn't supposed to leave the block, but I would leave off the block, and I'm in a whole nother part of the neighborhood, and Pops was like, where was you at today? And I'm nervous as heck. Like, I went to the park. You wasn't over at Franklin swimming? No. Lie to me again. Yeah, we went over there. It was a field trip. So I would have to, like, man, and it just became, and this is why I used that term, like a God, because he knew everything because of who he was. People knew him, they respected him. So if they saw us in a place where we wasn't supposed to be, he got wind of it. So there wasn't nothing we could do, and that kind of holds. It helped me hold myself more accountable, because I didn't want to disappoint him. I didn't want to be a disappointment, and I knew, like, okay, it ain't no sense in lying, because he know people that I don't know. So somebody seen me, I'ma just tell the truth, man. It just became that kind of like, hold yourself, being accountable for your actions and holding that name in high standards. And so that's kind of where my connection with the arts and just who he was and how that all bridged and came to be what it is right now.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't even like start drawing or painting until I was an adult. When I got pregnant with my first son, I wasn't working or anything, and I just decided I was gonna do a book. So I did a book called My Beautiful Hair, and I did the images, and I wrote the words, and I showed it to my dad, and he, what? Where did this come from? Because I honestly didn't do any drawing or anything. I don't, thinking about growing up in the arts, I did not, really, I don't really have any standout artistic stories. It wasn't until I became an adult that I said, I know my dad's in me. I'm going to start drawing. So I did. I started painting. And then, growing up, I wanted to make my parents proud, and I wanted to be successful, and I wanted, I think probably every black child growing up in, any urban neighborhood, you want to get outside of struggle, financial struggles, and, the no's of, can I have this? Can I do that? And so I wanted to go for, success when I went to school, and I got my degree in business administration and real estate studies. And then I got another degree in construction project management. And what I love most is the arts. I decided after COVID hit that, once I got laid off from my job, that if I was gonna ever work again, it was just gonna be for myself, and I was gonna do what I really wanted to do. And so then I started my shoe business, and that just opened up so many doors for me. So I felt like I was actually walking in the right direction. So that's why I chose the arts.
It was a major surprise when she tapped into her artistic abilities, because just what she said, like the arts was like the furthest thing away from what she was doing. And I'm like, so when she popped up out of the blue, like, man, I'm like, what? I almost was like, no, you can't have that. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, we can share. So it was kind of my thing to connect. And then when she came, I was like, oh man. And then I'm like, damn, that's dope. Can I say damn? I'm sorry. I was like, dang, that's dope. And then it was like but I always thought it was gonna be Charnel. I'm gonna be honest, because when she was younger, and I'm gonna let her tell her, but she had some pieces that I was like, yo, like okay, yeah, we got a female representing, and I was like, I thought she was gonna be the breakout queen for the arts.
There's still time.
There is still time.
Well, let's go into you.
Go ahead.
I try to get her to do it. I'm telling you, she's cold. I think that she's colder than me for sure.
Oh,
like she got skills that she just don't want to release.
Stop it. Okay. Thank you, brother and sister. I would say concerning art, I've been a free spirit. Okay. And I've used my art skills to just cultivate many different things. So I like my brother's wordplay on the called to, like my mom's nonprofit organization, Northside Culture, it's about the art of ... and whatever else follows. Like you are an artist because you're able to open up doors and merge forces to be able to sit down and do talks like this. You know what I mean? So there's so many different forms. I've been a beautician, artwork on the hair, beautician, art and food and cooking, cook like my grandmas and my aunties. Don't make no more requests this year. My mom says in our new business endeavors with the CPR and the life insurance, while I'm doing the third job, fingerprinting, during the, she's like, she soft sells hard. And it's just because with her, I got to learn the art form of, we used to facilitate trainings in early education, public policy, teaching parents and community members and our politicians how to advocate, so we can get kids to be holistically ready to learn.
So you made that
right. Yeah, put that on the books. Y'all got that? Right. And it's just like, my sister's business, Mother's Health is about, the art of healing, And so I've been able to just move all around the board because I like it and there's no restrictions to it. And really, where I feel my greatness is, my brother says I have a lot of untapped skills, but really I just like hearing what other people do, because in my mind I'm just writing out how I can create something to be able to bring all these forces together, to make something more powerful than what we already have, so
I want to hear about the elementary art, the elementary exposure. Like that's the piece you leaving out. Like,
oh, let me tell a story about that. I remember. Look, I remember we went to it was conferences at school, and one of the projects that they had the families do was sit down at a table, and all of us had to do our I don't want to say portrait because it was a full body, image of each person. And she must have sat like here at the table and did her whole project upside down with her left hand. And, you know, we just all sat around and looked like, oh my gosh, she just did this perfect image, like upside down and
Right.
and perfect. And it was crazy because, you know, we were trying to do ours the right side up. And it was like, okay. And hers was just so perfect at this young age. And she's the baby of the family, but
Definitely the baby.
she's
Spoiled.
You know, yeah.
Spoiled.
She's really good
Thank you.
when it comes to the arts.
Well, I'm glad you guys have all these memories for me. In your memory bank, thank you.
Hey, that's what siblings are for. I wish I had some siblings that could do that for me. I believe y'all two mentioned something, art and healing. And then you talked about COVID, and I remember we just going to bring this up. At the Merwin's liquor store, they turned the parking lot into like a art healing.
Oh, yeah.
So how do y'all think that, you know, people can use art to heal, or how do y'all use art to heal? And Keisha, I'm kind of directly asking you because I didn't meet you there, but you're the face that I seen when I went over there. And you kind of explained what was going on. And so all y'all can answer, but how do y'all see art and healing going hand in hand, if it do or if it don't?
Well, I see art as a form of healing because it's a form of expression and a form of expression that doesn't have to answer to anything else. It's like whatever you create that comes from inside of you, it's yours, and it's what you are inside actualized. And when I'm doing artwork, when I'm creating, when I'm in my freest form of creativity and, you know, coming up with different things in my mind, I can go without sleep. I remember I was working for a construction company and there was like a permanent L and K on my forehead because at work I would be like, you know, just because it was just like, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So it was actually draining me. Mm-hmm. And in the same breath, I could know I have to go to work in the morning, but paint until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and where I'm forcing myself, like, come on, at least get an hour of sleep, you know, just because, you know, I think that the arts and it's so close to just what we are, you know, it's creation. So I feel like it's a form of healing specifically because it is what we are, it's creation. And when we get back to that and get back to our roots and our foundations, you know, we can get to where we need to be to actually be in a space to let our bodies heal and not be caught up in a hamster wheel trying to, you know, make things happen. You know, you're just in your natural state.
Okay. Anybody else?
So for me, first I want to say shout out to Sanctuary Church for reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity and the canvas to actually work on the mural that's over there. So I think Andrea reached out to me. And from that moment, like our relationship with my relationship with the church has been like uphill, great. So shout out to Sanctuary Church. In terms of healing, I actually got the opportunity to, when I first started working on the mural, it branched off into a second project, which is the pots. But while I was working on the mural, I could see the way it was the engagement, the way it was affecting the people that were in the parking lot. Colorful people, and hanging out there and watching the activities, and the conversation that was had prior was, you know, we want to give, the reason this mural is going to be put up there is because we want to give them something to see, something, and my intentions were to give them something to see in terms of how they see themselves, and wanting them to see themselves as young kings and young queens. And so that was the inspiration for the piece that's on the wall up there. And as I was working on the piece, I would hear a lot of people come up and they would say, man, I used to love art class. Man, I used to be an artist, man. like I could draw, and I would hear these stories, and I'm like, all right, well, you know, let me see what you got. And a few people sat down, they grabbed some paper, and they would just sketch, and they were like, yeah, man, but I couldn't make no money with it, and I'm listening to them, and that money piece can be a deterrent for a lot of people, and the fact that they took the time out to share their story with me, just a little bit of their story with the connection through the arts, just a little bit of their story, and to see that they have this talent and not have a way to, how do I want to say this, to channel that energy and to use that bit of creativity to make a living. Like nobody knows, you don't see artists every day. So we were fortunate to have a father who made a living as an artist. And I would, again, like for me, watching him, I was blessed. I know I was blessed to see him come home and he would just have these big wads of money. And I'm like, I want that. Again, you're like, so I'm seeing the paintings happen overnight. I'm waking up and I'm seeing this canvas and I'm like, yo, this is dope. And then next day he's got gold chains on and rings with his name and driving us around in limos, a new car every rep. And I'm like, yo, this is it. Like, I want that. And for me seeing that, I'm like, I know I can make a living. I didn't have that, I can't make a living as an artist mentality. He was an entrepreneur. So I'm seeing that. I'm seeing him work for himself. He's always had jobs working for other people, but when he did his thing, like I would go out of town with him. I would go to art shows with him. I would exhibit with him. We'd be here, and there, and I would have to speak to people, talk to people to sell. So if I sold some paintings, then I got to get some money. I'm like, okay. I mean, as a 6-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, I'm like, okay, I got a little pocket money. With the little pocket money, we got to go go-karting, we got to go horseback riding. Like, you save your money, you get to do all that saucy stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. But to hear the people in the community say that they didn't have, like, they didn't see a way that they could make money with the art. They couldn't make a living with the art. And so I would have to explain to them, like, I'm making a living. Like, what you're seeing me do now is I'm making a living with the art. You just have to find ways to be creative. And those conversations happened. Some people was like, yo, I don't even want to get paid. I just want to contribute to the mural. So a few people I had help out, with the mural piece. And it was like, okay, well, dang, I went back, talked with some people, and I was like, how can we get them to be able to make money and be creative? And so then we were like, yo, in the next project that came about, it was like, yo, we got a 15 pots, 16 pots or whatever. Let's do an open call for artists. We gave an age bracket. People came in from the community that wanted to participate, help out. One of the young ladies ended up passing away, but before she passed away, like she was on some narcotics that wasn't so pleasant, and she came religiously, and it was just like, yo, when I'm on this pot, like leave. She was like, she told everybody to leave her alone. Like the community was still coming in, and they was trying to like, hey, let's go over here. And she was like, no, I'm working on this pot. And she made her mark, and she's no longer with us, but it was intended for her to be there and to work on that pot. And that like hit home. Like that was like, yo, that was like meant to be. And so that pot will live on forever, and she will live on forever through that pot. I was able to bring my sister in. I was able to bring in a couple other youth that we still have great connections with right now. One of the young ladies, Tegan, ended up helping my dad on the Broadway mural. And so just having that connection, using art, being able to connect and heal. And I know what art does for me personally when I don't have it and when I'm not creating. Like, I turn into a grumpy old man. Like, I understand. Like, I'm angry. Like,
I'm glad you got art.
Yeah. So
Right. Do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life?
Yes.
Okay. do you see yourself painting me on one of these walls?
Like, see?
See, you thought I wasn't gonna get there, huh? That's
funny.
that's where we're going next.
I like that.
No,
Good morning, America.
Ooh-wee.
nah. I was just saying, I think that's pretty dope. And then like just because you brought up a lot of people don't see artists every day, and when we in school, we not really taught about the local artists that we
Right.
have right here at our doorsteps. You know, we thought about don't let me get to saying people's name because I'm gonna be wrong. Y'all know names from artists.
Pablo Picasso.
You see people like that.
Charles Bibbs.
People that I never even
Yeah.
you see a painting, so we don't really
Romare
learn
Bearden. These are
about
black
Noir.
artists.
See, I never heard of them. I'm
Yeah.
talking, you know, the
Yeah.
people
Naj
that they
Jones.
tell us about out, you know, in school. We don't really know about the artists that we have here. So I think like you've been painting on the Zara building.
The Zara, yeah. Zara, say it again.
Zara,
Zara.
right?
Zara.
Zara.
I think it's a Zara, yeah.
Zara
Yeah.
building. And you know, I see you out there a few times and I want to come bug you to get you here.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, he don't look like he want to be bothered. And then I see you like 2 weeks later, you done painted all these ladies, and then 2 weeks later, you done painted them a whole nother way. And I be like, it took me 12 years to just do that, you know? So I think it's real dope just to see y'all out in the community, continuing this legacy that was started by y'all parents. I love seeing Charles out there, especially that new building. I tried to get him to put me up on the Kemp building
Right.
too, but you know, he's not doing it. But I just, you know, I love seeing it. I love art, and just to know that we have y'all right here at our fingertips.
Right.
So if y'all need me, somebody need me to come bother y'all, you know, I'm coming to get y'all. No, but I really do think it's dope, and I think it's something that our kids need to see. My daughter's 6, and she's like, I want to design shoes, I want to sew, I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, where you get that from? Because I don't know how to do none of that. But like, I'm like, at this age, I feel like, you know, I bought her a sewing machine. Okay, let's try to invest in what it is you want to do. So I think it's dope that y'all had a dad that was in the house that did art and y'all did art, because I don't know where my daughter got that from. But I think it's real dope to see y'all and let our kids be able to see y'all, watch y'all, witness y'all. My little cousin was sitting over there. She likes to draw. She got a little sketchbook. Her mom bought her new little iPad. But I think it's dope to have y'all in these rooms so that they can see y'all, so they could grow up and be like, you know, I want to be just like Kenneth when I get older. I want to be just like Keisha when I get older. I want to be just like Shanae instead of people we don't, you know, but we hear about. So thank y'all for the work that y'all do, contributing to this community that y'all from. Real dope. Love to see it. If y'all could just share one last thing so we could just wrap this up, what would you tell your 14, 15-year-old self if you could sit down and have that conversation with yourself now? What would you say?
I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, wow.
Start over there right now.
Wow. What I would tell myself was, okay, well, first of all, let me make clear. Growing up with parents and siblings like mine that I had every good example to look up to, it was never a question of if I wanted to be on their cheerleading team. It was, no, I'm going for captain. It was never, you know, everything was always as mine as I could dream of. And so I would tell my younger self to be gentle with myself. Be gentle with myself in knowing, like I said, in having a mother and father active. Dad, I'm in Egypt. He coming right now. But active in my life that, you know, I kind of, you know, there were situations that it could make me feel ashamed because people didn't understand that, or I was made to feel guilty because I had that. So I wish that I could have seen then that I could have wore that as a badge to go even further and being even more disciplined and learning how to leave people where they had me messed up in any capacity, in any opportunity, and to just sit here and tell myself to keep dreaming and dreaming big and move with full throttle and full force in everything that you do. So if I could go back in time, I would definitely tell myself to reach for the stars and go beyond that.
All right.
Ooh. 14 or 15. What would that make me? 9th, 10th grade? So I was at North High School. That's right, I'm a polar. But I would tell my 14 or 15-year-old self to really go for my own true desires and to just push. You know, I was in the Sumatech magnet, but I should have been in the dance magnet. I guess that was the form of art that I did before I actually started painting. I danced ballet, tap, jazz growing up, and I was good at it.
Hollywood Studio of Dance. I'm sorry. Please save Hollywood
Shout out to
Studio
Diane.
of Dance. Thank you, Miss Diane.
Yes. And so, you know, I would just tell myself to push. You know, it's one thing to, you know, be, I would say, a kid and, you know, doing what's expected of you. But if you have something and you know what you want to do, I would tell myself just to push and go hard at everything that I want to do and pursue it to, you know, relentlessly.
Oh, man, it's back. It's on me. Man, I would have, if 14, 15, couple things I would do. I would intentionally keep my family closer. Like my younger brother, I would have like really intentionally made efforts to have him stay away from the darker side of life. So that would have been the first thing. Second thing would be to not worry about what friends think is cool, and I would have focused more on my craft. Focused more on there were moments where I was like, yo, I want to be a rapper. And I didn't want to, it was like, okay, we're drawing, I can draw, that's cool, but I want to be a rapper. Or, man, the whole neighborhood is playing basketball. Like, well, I'm going to go play basketball. Like, and I wasn't no good at basketball. I was all right. I could put the ball where it needed to be. But that wasn't my thing. Like, so I spent a lot of time doing stuff that wasn't me. So I would have like really focused on what was me, what was laid out for me, and finding my vision or finding my thing earlier and focusing on my thing. I probably would have still played football because that's me. Still would have wrestled because that's me. And those team sports really helped me see the value in family and structure and staying focused. So I wouldn't change that part of it. But the family, finding my thing, not worrying about what other people think is cool. Because now, like in hindsight, like the thing that wasn't cool, that people thought wasn't cool,
That's cool.
my friends look at it now and they're like, yo, that shit's cool. So I was always that cool kid, but I didn't understand the value in it.
Okay.
Until I got older and I started making money.
Could I have $1? No, I'm just playing.
I got something I wanted to add to that last question
Go
that you
right
had.
ahead.
I mean, this is where I thought we made it. Probably about 8, 9 or something. About 6 in the morning watching MTV Cribs, and I see a picture of one of my dad's pictures flashing. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Right.
we're somebody. I mean, you know, I grew up seeing all the people that my dad got to meet at his art shows and things like that. Like, amazed with that. And but I really, as an adult, I feel proud when I make sure that West Broadway is in my route because, I mean, we got it laced from block to block, one end to the other, just with this legacy artwork that's going to be there for our kids to see, and our kids are talking about it every time we're rolling down the street. Ooh, that's my Uncle Kenny's. Ooh, Auntie Keisha did that. That's my grandpa's mural right there. And it just makes me extremely proud because while we were growing up, we didn't get to see those images. Just it's in your face. It's in your face. So it just changes the concept that they have to really dream big, because they can see themselves in all things, you know, through the artwork. So I'm really, really proud of all the work that you guys really do, that we are all doing. I feel blessed with that. And I don't know if we got to touch much on Appetite for Change. Like, we've been blessed to be able to participate in the classes and mother groups that you guys have given back to us, and that's definitely a big art form. It has been really a staple piece in our lives, you know, in the health and wellness, you know, and being able to involve our kids in it as a real treat for us, and being able to drive past a garden and go, let's get out, let's go pick some stuff. But right. Even creating our own gardens, because it is the seeds that we plant for the harvest that we want. And we are consistently and diligently planting seeds within our community to be able to reap a really good harvest.
Well, thank you for that. You sure you're not a spoken word?
Right.
Just selling.
You know the words, but
hard selling softly, that's all.
No, thank y'all. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Know I love y'all. Y'all know, no matter what.
We love you too, girl.
I appreciate y'all.
We love y'all pals.
Everywhere that you know.
Oh
no,
my
you didn't.
goodness!
You don't even know.
I'm looking and I'm like, man, why does she look familiar? But I know your people.
to Jay-Z. Thank you.
Ooh.
Okay, that's what it is. Jay-Z. That's what it is.
Adrian, whenever you're ready, you can cut the camera off. Ooh, thank you.
That's what's up. That was it. That was your closing.
My closing was before y'all.
That's how you close?
Answered. Nah.
No, man.
Thank you for tuning in with us.
There you go.
Make sure you check out these videos on YouTube and on Appetite for Change's Facebook page. It was really an honor to sit at this table and have this conversation with y'all. Continue to build that legacy and, yeah, keep being great.
That's what's up. Can we do this again?
Yeah.
We can do this again?
No.
Next week, same time.